Yes. I will now call the meeting to order with a moment of silence as we pray for our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mrs. Franks.
Mayor Kindle.
Present.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Present.
Councilwoman Foster.
Present.
Councilwoman LaPratte.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Here.
Councilwoman Williams.
Present.
Councilman Toussaint.
Present.
City Manager Szymanski.
Here.
All right, that takes us to the presentation. I have a presentation from the State Representative Pies.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just want to give a, well, it might not be so brief update about what's been going on. I'm sure you're aware that the Michigan House Appropriations Committee cut or clawed back, as they say, $645 million of already approved projects across the state going back some years. A couple of district projects were affected, in danger of losing funding, but thankfully this did not happen with Harper Woods Pocket Park funding. Per your request, I recently submitted a budget fund request for $500,000 for Harper Woods Community Center. Appropriations committees are meeting this week, and I'm hoping the request is funded in the supplemental budget that we're expecting. I've mentioned it to my colleagues on appropriations. However, also the speakers determined that senators this year may not co-sponsor House requests, so this, the request is solely mine. Although I know Senator Hertel greatly supports this request. Based on last year's budget negotiations and the unencumbered appropriation dollars being challenged and being held up, I suspect that this year will be another hard-fought cycle. Having said that, it's an election year, so perhaps my colleagues across the aisle will be mindful of the importance of timeliness. Revenue sharing. Recent tax policy changes have resulted in a drop in constitutional revenue sharing. The removal of the state tax from the fuel pump prices for local roads plans has reduced the sales tax base, as have the no tax on tips and income tax reductions. So I'm not aware of current budget funding, but I suspect revenue funding may be cut further. And I'm sure the city manager and the mayor are well aware of this also. My first bill of the year is the CARS Act. It's the Cutting Auto Rates for Seniors Act, legislation that was designed to lower auto insurance costs for older adults, and this legislation was at the suggestion of the AARP. What the CARS Act would do is require all insurance companies, all auto insurance companies, to offer a premium discount to drivers over the age of 50 who complete Michigan's Mature Driver Safety Course. Currently, some insurance companies offer a discount. I believe that's AAA right now. I don't know the other one. There is no mandate on the percentage of a discount, but AAA offers the course and a premium discount in the area of 5%. Both AAA and AARP offer the courses, which are in person. The bill also would shorten the required course work from 8 hours to 6 hours, so the hope is that it would make it a one-day course instead of coming back over 2 days. Some of the other bills I'm working on right now include legislation about notaries. That was actually at the suggestion of somebody from the Wayne County Deeds Office who thought that it might cut down on some fraud. I'm also working on a massage therapy apprenticeship and education about human trafficking. That bill is at the suggestion and working with one of my former constituents in St. Clair Shores, who is a massage therapist who wanted, who thought it would be a good idea if we could have apprenticeship programs in that to do more reach out into rural areas and kind of get people into the profession. For that, I'm also working on cooperative housing right now, a package of bills for that. Working on a workplace bullying, Medicaid redetermination for permanently disabled individuals. Let's see, homeless and runaway youth. I'm actually working with Harper Woods constituent on this. I've been working with him for a couple of years now. And establishing a program to screen elementary school students for diabetes type 1. And I'm also doing some work with the environment and water, specifically right now, microplastics and water affordability programs. Excuse me. So over the past week or so, I've received a lot of email, dozens of emails and phone calls about proposed housing legislation by one of my colleagues. I am not a co-sponsor of the bill. I believe the package was referred to the Government Operations Committee and is awaiting a hearing right now. Actually, it may have just received the hearing last week, I think, and may be coming to the House floor for a vote soon. At any rate, I'm also not on that committee. The package is largely related to zoning laws. So I suspect our city manager is well aware of the package of bills and how that would affect Harper Woods. I just want to reiterate that I believe in municipal autonomy, and I'll vote accordingly. But there's a strong argument out there that this is a state in dire need of housing. Actually, over 90,000 housing units are still needed in Michigan. So let's see. I know the Michigan Municipal League opposes those bills and has worked with Representative Steckloff and another representative on creating a separate package of bills for housing that's called the Michigan Home Program Act. I still have to look those over. And but those at the MML last week, Michigan Municipal League meeting, I talked with the mayor in another city, and they thought that was much more palatable going forward. So we'll see what happens with that set of bills. Let's see, a couple of bills that I've recently co-sponsored address community violence intervention services and licensing of hyperbaric chambers. You may recall that a year or so ago, a 5-year-old boy died, I think it was in Madison Heights, from a hyperbaric chamber that wasn't properly licensed or being used by people who weren't properly trained, my understanding about it. So a colleague of mine is going through and making some legislation that would address those issues, and I was glad to co-sign that. Also, there was, earlier this year, there was cell phones in schools bills that were passed and went into law, banning cell phones in classrooms, and the new law, I believe, takes effect this fall, and it prohibits students from using any wireless communications devices on school grounds during instruction time. The final version of the bill also allows local school boards to adopt additional restrictions if they choose, and the law includes some exemptions, including medically necessary devices, school-owned devices like tablets and laptops, devices used for special education programs and emergency situations. And I had questions about the emergency situation, but I was told that that's up for the school to determine in line with its own emergency regulations. So it's designed to reduce distractions, during class and encourage student engagement and support academic success. Let's see. Okay, at the end of January, I joined about 45 legislators from 15 states across the country in Minnesota for a day of solidarity with their legislators there in reaction to what has been happening with Immigrations and Customs enforcement of the law there. A lot of concerned legislators were there. We attended a Senate subcommittee hearing as well as a press conference, a national press conference. However, I stayed on an extra day and was able to talk with some parents, 7 parents of children in daycare centers who told me that things have gotten to the point where they've established patrols amongst themselves, patrolling the daycare centers. Their kids are feeling, they know something's not right. They're feeling traumatized. These parents are there, patrolling is the word they used, in mornings at drop-off, during pickup, and sometimes at other times throughout the day if they feel that they need backup, again, another word that they use. They'll call one of the other parents who comes. And these are parents who work full-time jobs and have taken it out of their time to act on this. And unfortunately, they also felt the need to be very, I don't know if the word is secretive with me. I learned their first names. I did not know their last names, what if their family had lived in the States for generations and generations or not, or what the status of citizenship was. They were really just concerned about their children. So I attended that, and excuse me, over the weekend, not this past weekend, but previously, I was in Alabama for learning more about the history of the civil rights movement in the U.S. And I was able, about 6 of us legislators went, and it was just very moving going into Birmingham and Montgomery and Selma. We went to the 16th Street Baptist Church where the 4 little girls had been killed during a bomb attack at the church in 1965. I also got to meet with former Senator, now I can't think of his name, who's now also running for governor, but he was just out of law school in the 90s when they determined who 2 of the bombers were, and he was able to prosecute them and got sentences for them. And on Friday, we went to Selma for the Edmund Pettus Bridge crossing, which was really very moving time. And there were thousands of people who turned out for that. So it was really a weekend of civil rights and voting and just learning all about that up front and in person, as opposed to just looking at pictures in a book. So I'm also, back to what I'm working on right now, I'm working on a coffee hour. Well, I will have another coffee hour at the Harper Woods Library coming up April 20th. I'm working on a gun violence prevention town hall right now, hopefully for May or June. And I'm working on a date with that. It will probably be at one of the churches over here in Moross. They open up their facilities to my office quite often. Also working on a constituent services on the road. I've had these usually annually. They bring together the Secretary of State's office, Wayne County Health Department, oftentimes Lakeshore Legal to talk about tenant rights and other concerns, and other organizations usually take part in that too, addressing healthcare and a whole variety of issues. Let's see. I'm in district on Mondays and Fridays to meet. I'm usually up in Lansing on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays because those are days that we have session and vote on. But for the next, I'll be up there tomorrow, and then for the following 3 weeks where we won't have session, so I'll be in district, and my schedule is much more flexible if anybody wants to meet. I do want to give a heads up if you've tried contacting my office. I have 2 staff members, Abby, who's my Constituent Services Director, and James, who's my Legislative Director. James is on paternity leave right now, so we're really short-staffed. So if you contact our office, it might take a while for us to get back to you. But say if it's urgent, you'll let my staff know who you are and just say to let me know ASAP, and I'll get back to you. Although I think probably all of you have my phone number anyway, and have been in touch at some point, so you can always contact me that way too. Lastly, I just want to say that I I represent 7 cities. I have coffee hours at 5 different libraries, and I attend monthly community meetings for 3 neighborhoods in Detroit. So time can be difficult. So I just want to say that what helps me help you all best is when I hear from you about what you would like me to work on or to discuss with you. That would be actually really helpful. When I go to some meetings, I say, didn't you ever think there should be a law about something? And to my surprise, people often go, no, I'm good. So I don't quite get it, but I want you all to feel free about contacting me and just talking over whatever you're interested in. I can always do some research to see if something's already been addressed or is being addressed, or is this something we can move forward on. So thank you all for listening, and real quick I want to say that Bots Masters are here, and I went to see them compete on Friday, and they were awesome. They're awesome girls, but I'm sure they'll tell you more. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Coach, would you step up and we're going to give a presentation to the girls?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sherry Betcher. I have the honor of coaching these amazing young women. It's a team, a high school team, actually 8th grade through 12th grade, of girls from any community. Most of our girls go to Grosse Pointe South, Grosse Pointe North, or Pierce Middle School, but we are a community-based team sponsored by the American Association of University Women, which allows us to take girls from anywhere. So we welcome girls from anywhere who would like to join us. So we have been competing now. This is our 4th season. These girls are hardworking, smart, brilliant, amazing young women. They not only build robots and program robots and compete with robots, they also do a great deal of community service. Last year, they did so much community service, they were given the honor of the Blue Banner, which is the Impact Award, which is the highest award that you can win in the robotics, the FIRST robotics community. And that was given to them, awarded to them, earned by them for all of the impact that we have on our community. These girls are passionate about everything from breast cancer to food insecurity, which is one of the reasons that we are standing here before you today. One of our community members, Harper Woods community member, reached out to us and was looking for requests for proposals to create a food pantry that she would be able to help with food insecurity in our area by having a food pantry in her front yard. This is a trend that has been happening for the last couple of years. We all know about free little libraries. They have been converting free little libraries over to free little pantries to help neighbors with food insecurity challenges that we're experiencing as a result of lots of things that are happening in our country. So we were honored to submit a request for proposals. That whole process was new to our girls, and they embraced it with vigor and intelligence and brilliance. And we were selected to be the ones to provide the pantry. So they repurposed a kitchen cabinet. Also, I'll mention that the homeowner really was very interested in repurposing as many products and materials for the project as possible. She didn't want to add to, items that she really wanted us to reuse as much as we could. So we bought very little things, and we ended up doing the whole project for under $30 by using a community member's kitchen cabinet that had been ripped out. They converted it, restructured it, basically rebuilt it, and created the pantry out of it. So we were honored to do that work, and then honored when representative attended, and a couple of the city council members, and Mayor Kinder, of course, attended the red ribbon ceremony when we presented that to that homeowner. So we were delighted to do that. We were also delighted to help with wrapping the Christmas presents with Goodfellows. That was just, those are a couple of things that we've done, but our work is just getting started. We are excited, really looking forward to building a really strong, more community relationship with the Harper Woods community and all of you. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, first of all, we have a proclamation for you and the young ladies because of your community service that you all have done. Not only did you do the food pantry, but you came over and helped the Lions Club do gift wrapping for Christmas for the kids, for the families, and we had such a ball. The way that you all did it, we didn't have to give instructions. They just figured it out and did it, and it was so awesome the way they organized, even with putting the mittens and gloves and hats all together. I mean, it was, they just did it without being super instructed. You know, that was their critical thinking was just apparent in everything that they were doing. And then they came back and reorganized the food pantry's shelving, like got rid of all the food, canned goods that had expired that was sitting there. You know, of course you cannot give that to anyone else, but it takes time to go through that. And so one evening, a Sunday afternoon, they all came over and did that. And we was just so pleased and happy because it takes a lot of time to do those kind of things. And when you don't have enough volunteers, and all those hands made it quick and easy, and they did it with a smile. They were happy to help. And that's what makes it so important that we recognize our young people that are willing to step up to the plate and to be a part of the community and do and give back to the community. These girls are learning a valuable lesson that a lot of kids are not privy to. But I am so grateful for them and so thankful for the way that they are representing our communities in the tournaments and stuff. I think you came in second place
Yes,
out of 40.
second place out of 40 teams, and we were only beat by the world champions. They were 2022 world champions. So, I mean, and we gave them a run for their money.
So we have a proclamation that is from myself and all the council members have signed here for the girls. So please come up. Oh, I'm sorry. Ask any questions if you guys have any questions that you want to ask of them. Yes.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about the competition and how what was involved with it and what you did, and because a lot of people aren't familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked. I did kind of gloss over that in my explanation a bit, so I appreciate the opportunity to share more. So we are part of the FIRST Robotics community, and what happens with the FIRST Robotics community is they release a game every year, and it's a game that you have to build a robot to play. So their robot is about 110 pounds and is a quite large robot. It's like 27 by 27. So they release a game. FIRST Robotics releases a game every year, and then you have to build a robot to play the game. And the more things that you can get your robot to do in the game to score points, the better you'll do in the competition. So in this year's competition, we are shooting balls into a location, which doesn't sound that challenging, but it's a lot. It's quite challenging. There's some obstacles on the field that you have to either go under, go over. That can be super challenging as well. And then there's a tower at the end, actually at the beginning and the end, that you can have your robot climb on. And it is a super fast timed match, so we're only on the field for 3 minutes, and it is 3 robots against 3 robots. And so at a competition, they're all randomly selected to compete with and against each other. So you might be competing with a partner, an alliance partner, one match, and 3 matches later, the person who you were opposed against just prior could be your alliance partner for that. So it requires the girls to strategize with other teams, with other students from around the area, from anywhere. Teams can come from anywhere. So there's 40 teams at Wayne State. They came from Livonia. A lot of them come from Detroit. Harbor Woods had a couple of teams there as well. And then 2 teams from Rose Point were there as well. So you get 2 competitions, so we'll do that again at Mason High School in 2 weeks, so please root for us. These girls scored, as you shared, we came in 2nd place, and we scored so many points that we're almost a shoo-in for states. We can't say that we're going to states yet, because we've got to still do a couple of things at Mason to like tip us over the edge, but we are super close to being able to advance to the state championship, which is at Saginaw Valley University. And then if we do really well there, so in Michigan, we're actually one of the biggest robotics competitions in the whole country, and that is because of some of the funding that the state of Michigan has been giving to the robotics teams for many, many years now. We are a state that builds things. We build cars here. We build lots of things here, right? And we know that even now, and especially in the future, a lot of that building is going to be done by robots. So we need people that know how to build robots, repair robots, program robots, so that we can stay a competitive edge on the manufacturing, field that we are currently, strategic in. So Michigan is really poised to really do well in the future, especially with, the way that our with the way our economy and our manufacturing process is moving. We are poised for greatness, and I really think that our participation in robotics is really going to change the fabric and honestly just change the trajectory of some students and families' lives. Every single team in every single high school in Grosse Pointe has a robotics team. And the skills that these students, it's project-based learning at its best. I've been in education for 25 years. I promise you, there is nothing like this in our schools that gives, as Mayor Kindle was just speaking about, it gives these students this problem solving, this teamwork, this project management. They are self-directed, they are operating as one functioning unit out there at these competitions and really throughout the season. So it gives them this self-confidence, it gives them this self-direction, it gives them, it creates leaders out of these young ladies. And to hear you acknowledge that just warms my heart, because that's the goal. That's what you're hoping, will happen. And it happens naturally, and really, it's just a beautiful thing, and I thank you all for your support, and thank you for the legislative support. It's just incredible. You couldn't do it without the support.
All right. Well, why don't the girls come up and...
They're all afraid to ask more questions, because I probably talked too long. I'm so sorry.
Well, I don't think you're giving them enough credit. So I went down on Friday, and it was absolutely amazing. They couldn't have been more informative. They took me in the pits, showed me the robot, took me out, explained how the whole competition worked. So there were 40 teams there. How many of these teams were all girls?
There's 2. We are the only, I'm glad that you
there's
asked.
2?
There's 2, and the other one is, you probably know,
The Pink
Yeah.
Panthers.
the Pink Panthers, and we're the only team in Michigan that isn't from an all-girls school. So we're the only all-girls team in Michigan that does not come from an all-girls school.
And they came in second. And I think, somebody might have told me you won another award for your autonomy?
Yes, thank you. We won the Autonomous Award, which awards teams. So during the competition on the field, the first 20 seconds of the match, you have to program your robot to do certain things on the field without any human interaction. So you program the robot to do what you need it to do in order to score points. And the autonomous that our programmers came up with was consistently performing and scoring every single time. It never failed. It scored exactly what it was supposed to score every single time, and that is just to be celebrated. So it's a Google Award for autonomous. We are super proud of it, so thank you so much for asking.
All right, now, Ivor, you've already spoken.
Whisper it in her ear, she'll ask too.
I wanted to know how many of the girls are interested in going into engineering.
That was my question.
Yeah, my daughter was in FIRST Robotics, Grosse Pointe North, and was fast-tracked directly to the engineering program at Grand Valley because of her involvement in FIRST Robotics.
Yeah.
And so I think this really sets you girls up for success. I don't think you even realize how much it sets you up for success should you want to go into engineering or architecture or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So many colleges give FIRST scholarships for students who have been with FIRST, and these girls are poised for greatness. And I would say at least half of them are interested. Almost all of them, I would say, are interested in a STEM-related field. Some of it is engineering, and then others fields like forensics or neurology. I think I've got one girl that wants to, study brains, and another one that wants to be an astronaut. And it's incredible the exposure to the different careers that are possible that we don't really even, you just don't talk about. We don't know anyone who does that, and we don't necessarily have the exposure to that kind. So thank you for asking the question. I think that's absolutely one of the greatest benefits for the team.
And every astronaut team has an engineer on it, so this will get you ready. This will get you to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anyone down here who have a question? No? Okay, let's have the girls come up and make the presentation. Council, if you would.
Where do you want us?
Maybe have them
So
come
we're
up.
gonna, are we-
I think they want to do a photo.
And you know what? I forgot about the parents, because the parents, the ones who came and brought the girls there on Sunday afternoon, they not only did the girls do all the work, but the parents was helping and helping orchestrate it. So it was a team effort, and I'm just so proud of them. So here you go. Which one of you guys want to hold the proclamation? Okay. Right here.
Oh, Mayor Kevin, we even matched. I like it.
Congratulations.
Oh, I hope you're successful at your next competition. Good luck.
My son was in it too, in Grosse Pointe North, years ago.
Bravo, good luck.
Yes, congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, absolutely, good luck.
Also,
Go to States.
Yeah, good luck. We want to hear good things.
Right, you never go to the city council meeting, let alone get a proclamation.
Congratulations.
So this is just really, thank you so much.
I remember you.
She's wealthy. She just got engaged.
Okay. Now, ladies, if you want to stay for the meeting, we won't be offended if you leave.
Yeah, you don't have to stay.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Madam Mayor? Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I'll offer the motion to accept, receive, and file the minutes of the regular city council meeting held March 2nd, 2026.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This comes to public comment on agenda items only. If it's on the agenda, you can comment on it at this time.
Thank you. Well, now I can officially say I've been living in this city for 66 years, February 13th. What I want to ask about is the new business number 4, deputy city manager appointment. I did some research on it, and I want to know if you did any vetting on the 2 people that you're putting out here. Where are the applications that they weren't posted when you put it up? Because I had to go back to August of last year when they put in the applications. Also, I'd like to know if you're going to have the same conditions you have for the city manager as the code of ethics for these people as he has. The next thing I want to know, I read that he put on there that the city council is only going to be able to ask 1 question apiece to these 2 gentlemen that are, or whoever these 2 people are, that never met them. And that seems ironic to me, because what I think is the people of this city that pay the taxes should be able to ask these people a bunch of questions, because you always compare us to other cities. East Point did that when they had the city manager. Or are we going to have another fiasco like we did with the mayor becoming our city manager? So, one thing I want to know, when I was doing the reading on this, it looks like one candidate has more experience than the other. The other couldn't keep a job for more than a year. The other guy's got all kinds of experience. Now, the next thing, I don't see it on here, but he mentioned it in there that he's going to ask for a $5 million bond tonight. I want to know, it says it's for infrastructure. But what I've been hearing is it's for something on 8 Mile because of the new buildings. But to me, he knows the city. We have water main breaks all the time. That's infrastructure. We need that fixed before that. Make them pay for it. The city shouldn't have to pay for that. And what I want to know about this $5 million bond, we're still paying on a darn school. How much are you going to pay on this? Just a regular amount, and then we're going to have a debt created up to about 10 million? That doesn't make sense. Cities don't work that way. If you get the money, make sure you can pay it back.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on agenda items only? Seeing none? Okay, I need a resolution for consent agenda. Oh, Lord, what is wrong with me? Anyway, I need a resolution for the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a resolution for agenda items 1 through 5.
Support.
Any discussions? Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPratte.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem, oh my gosh. It's catching.
It's catching?
Mayor Kendall.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay. All right, that takes us to old business. We have none at this time. New business, city manager's report.
Okay, Mayor and Council, new business item number 1, resolution, notice of intent to issue revenue bonds for water and sewer system, Clean Water State Revolving Fund, CWSRF project. Mayor and Council, attached is a resolution authorizing publication of a notice of intent to issue revenue bonds for the water and sewer system, Clean Water State Revolving Fund, CWSRF project for improvements to the water and sewer system. Pursuant to Act 94, publication of a notice provides city electors a 45-day referendum period with respect to the issuance of the bonds. The resolution authorizes publication of the notice in a newspaper of general circulation within the city with a majority of news content. The notice will be published in the Grosse Pointe News, and the proposed publication text is included as Attachment A with all the required statutory language. The resolution also states the city's intent to reimburse itself for project expenditures and establish a maximum principal amount of $5,500,000 for the bonds. The notice of intent also outlines the referendum rights of registered electors. It is my recommendation that the resolution be adopted as written, and we have two gentlemen here that can explain any of the particulars should the council have any questions. It is my recommendation, Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, make the resolution to adopt the attached resolution authorizing the publication of the notice of intent to issue revenue bonds for the water and sewer system, Clean Water State Revolving Fund, CWSRF project.
Support. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor? I noticed, I know it's a 30-year bond, and I know often when we have a bond go out, on the market to be checked, our rating is an important factor in, what we get as far as the amount that we'll be paying. So do we know, what is our current rating?
Okay, our current rating is BBB, and Pat, would you like to come up to the podium and explain some of the particulars?
Good evening. I'm Pat McGow. I am the bond lawyer for Miller Canfield who prepared the resolution. You may remember I was here a couple years ago when you had a similar project for the water system. Really briefly, I think that memorandum outlined what we're doing here. This is a project that you began over a year ago when you applied for funding with the state. Good news, you got approved for funding, and this is a low-interest loan program that you qualified for their lowest or their best interest rate package, 1% for either 20 years or 30 years. So you have that option to choose those, so the resolution gives you flexibility. This bond issue is not sold in the bond market like other bonds. This is a loan program through the state. So you don't have to go through the same process. However, the state does want to make sure that the bond is investment grade, and there's different ways we can satisfy that. So this bond will not have a rating, although we may have to go for a credit opinion or find some other way to satisfy the state's requirement for the bond issue. But it won't have a rating like you have on some other bonds that you've done in the market.
And Madam Mayor, another question. I noticed that there was some exception or something that had to do with the Michigan Finance Authority. Can you give me some understanding of how that would be different or what that means for us?
Yeah, sure. So, okay. Yeah, so the way this program works is the state, EGLE, which is the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, runs the program with the Michigan Finance Authority. The Michigan Finance Authority is an agency of the Department of Treasury. And one of the benefits that we have in doing this program through them is that not only is this being done as a revenue bond, and what that means is the expectation is that this is going to be paid from your water and sewer rates. This is not expected to be paid from taxes. So this is something that the users of the system will pay for over the life of the bonds because they're getting the benefit of these improvements. And by the way, the benefits of the improvements, this is a sewer project. This is the collection system. So this is doing some lining, some sewer rehab. It's all related to the sewer system. There's no other way or no other projects that this can be used for. And so it's paid from users of the water and sewer system. What the Michigan Finance Authority does is they are the agency that is essentially buying the bonds and giving us the money. And in order to satisfy the requirements, we have the ability to pledge additional security to satisfy the requirements. So there's language in the notice that says that the city could pledge its taxing powers, or it could pledge its revenue sharing in order to satisfy the requirements. At this time, we're not expecting to do that. We're expecting to go get a credit assessment, not a rating, but have it reviewed by the rating agency to say that we satisfy the state's requirements. So, but we have that language in there in order to give us flexibility. This is, by the way, the first step of a two-step process related to the financing. So tonight's resolution kind of kicks it off with this notice of intent. We will have to come back to the council in June or July after you've got the construction bids and ask the council to consider approving an ordinance to authorize the bond. So by approving this tonight, you're not committing yourselves to do this. You're not committing to issue up to $5.5 million. This is kind of the first step that kicks it off, and then we will come back in the summer and have the council adopt an ordinance that would authorize the bonds at that time.
Madam Mayor.
Pretty good.
Yes.
I just wanted to know if this is going to force us to have an increase in our water bills.
I don't see one in the immediate future. To say that we're never going to have an increase in our water bills would be an error statement on my behalf, but we can afford this.
Okay.
Is there any?
No, it was the same question.
All right. Roll call vote, Ms. Frank.
Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
All right. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you. New business item number 2, establish public hearing dates for special assessment district. Mayor and council, the city of Harper Woods has statutory authority to provide police and fire services to the community and impose a special assessment for providing these services under Public Act 33 of 1951. The passage of this mill assessment would provide additional funding for police and fire services. It is necessary once again to ask City Council to renew the mill assessment for 2026. I will provide you with an estimate of the projected cost of operating our police department and fire department, combined with the legacy cost of police and fire retirees at the public hearing. Therefore, it is my recommendation that we schedule the necessary public hearings. Excuse me. Mayor, a motion is recommended.
Madam Mayor? I'll offer the motion to schedule a public hearing on April 20th at 7 p.m. for the purpose of receiving public comment on the continuation of the Special Assessment District, and further to schedule a second public hearing May 4th at 7 p.m. for the purpose of reviewing the effect of the special assessment on the tax roll, and further that the city clerk publish a notice of these in accordance with city charter requirements.
Support.
Any discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
my question is whether the mills was going to, what do you think the mills is going to be about the same as they were last year, or were you?
We're looking at cutting the taxes again. I can't tell you, how much, but last year was a big cut. We're looking for a tax cut this year.
Exactly the same question.
Okay. All right. Roll call. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, new business item number 3, establish appeal hearing dates, revoke business license at 19306 Kelly Road. Mayor and council, on March 3rd, 2026, the city issued a notice to the license holder for Fly Social LLC located at 19306 Kelly Road, informing them of the city's intent to revoke their business license due to documented criminal activity occurring at the establishment. The notice outlined the basis for the proposed revocation in accordance with the city ordinances. The notice also informed the license holder of their right to appeal the revocation decision. On March 12, 2026, the license holder submitted a timely appeal requesting review of the revocation. The purpose of the hearing is to allow the license holder an opportunity to present information regarding the appeal and for the City Council to consider the basis for the revocation. Following the hearing, the City Council may uphold, modify, or overturn the revocation decision. Therefore, it is my recommendation that we schedule the necessary appeal hearing. Mayor, a motion is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
make motion to schedule an appeal hearing on April 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of receiving public comment on the revocation of the business license at 19306 Kelly Road, Fly Social LLC, and further that city clerk publish a notice in this accordance with the city charter requirements.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, new business item number 4, Deputy City Manager position. Mayor and Council, the process for the selection of the Deputy City Manager position has been ongoing for some time. The subcommittee met last fall to review the applicants for this position and choose 5 candidates that would best fit our needs. Upon reaching out to those candidates, most of them lost my place here. Upon reaching out to those candidates, most of them have selected for other positions elsewhere, with only a couple remaining interested in Harper Woods. Tonight, we will move forward with the process and conduct public interviews to make this appointment a reality. The interview process can go something like this. Both candidates will draw numbers to determine the interview order. The candidate not interviewed will remain sequestered. Each candidate will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves and explain why they are the best candidate for the position. Each council member may ask one question of the candidate. Following the interviews and questions, the City Council will publicly vote for their preferred candidate using voting slips. Voting will continue until one candidate receives 4 votes. We will then invite the council member to make a motion to approve the appointment. At your next meeting, I will have an employment agreement prepared for your review and approval. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor, my resolution approve the appointment of to the position of Deputy City Manager for the City of Harper Woods, effective upon a mutually agreed upon employment agreement.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not.
Do I have a support?
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We have to,
We
we
didn't
have to
pick
go through the
anybody.
process.
Oh.
You have to have somebody fill in
Yeah.
the blank.
Okay.
Jump the gun.
Yep, all righty then.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I have a question about the process. Actually, two statements about the process. First, I know that according to our city ordinances, the city manager normally selects department heads. This is essentially what we have here. And then it comes to us for approval. And so the fact that we're going through this process instead is a little unnecessary in my opinion. But the second kind of statement I have is that in the past when we had a process similar to this for selecting a city manager, we went through the first set of questions and then it was followed up with additional questions that council might have. So I'm curious, of course there are 7 of us that will be asking questions, but are we open to the idea of asking follow-up questions?
It depends on
Mayor, I'd like to answer that. As long as you ask the same questions to both candidates.
All right, thank you.
But, and also, if I remember correctly, when we did the process for the first time, we did a deputy city manager. It was an interview process, and then we had the 2 candidates come before us, and that's when we selected, after they did their interview with us, that's when you guys selected the former city manager for the position. So this process is not new. It's just that we didn't take the first step where we had the interview process with these candidates. This time, we are interviewing the candidates at the very beginning. I mean, so that's the only difference. All right, so we need some kind of hat or bag or,
Yeah, I suppose so. I didn't think about that part. Come up with something.
and where you gonna put them at?
One will be in the council chamber.
Okay.
Here we go. You want to come up and draw a number?
All right, Mr. Kavanaugh and Mr. Perry.
I think it's too loud.
Okay, just reach up and grab one. Which one? Okay. You one? You two?
Okay, so
Okay.
Mr. Kavanaugh, we'll have you come back and sit in here.
All right. Mr. Perry, go to the mic.
Okay, I was wondering, was it me?
Yes, it's you.
I keep my hands on my lap.
One of the mics is just acting weird tonight. I don't know why.
Yes. I don't understand where the clerk is.
She's back giving him instructions.
Oh, he just went to the bathroom.
Do
Phil.
We'll have to close the door then. We'll have to close the door because he's in
Yeah.
the lobby.
He's in the lobby.
Chief, could you close the door? Yeah, please.
Why don't you use the men's room?
How's he getting back in there?
I left the door cracked.
All right, Mr. Perry, you want to begin?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Joseph Desmond Perry, and today, or this evening, I wanted to introduce myself. I am a resident of Harper Woods. I'm here to inform you about my history, my work history. I am a hospitality professional, graduated from the University of Findlay in 2003. Have worked in Atlanta to Florida and back here now for over 10 years, and I'm a graduate of Grosse Pointe South, moved to Harper Woods about three years ago. And when it comes to my professional background, I am from the hospitality background. I have worked for the last about 10 years, about 10 years have been with the Westin Hotel out at the Detroit airport. I have overseen staff of about 40 union associates, overseeing from restaurants to events to event operations, executing things like the renaming for the Wayne County Airport Evans Terminal a few years ago. Through my time in hospitality, my background again will always flow through operations, management, people management, as well as again working within unions. My focus is always modernization of tech, as well as streamlining processes. When it comes to events, I am a big community fan. I always work within community within my events, from when it comes to vendors as well as locations, always working within the community to build up, build back. My affiliation around community, NAACP, Detroit Pride. I have volunteered for former Wayne County commissioners and have always worked for community as well as improving and development within community as well as individuals within the workspace. I believe that I would be a great fit for this position because, again, I am part of the community. My home is right down the street, and I want to make sure to see Harper Woods grow over the years. The ever-changing demographic within the community. Obviously, as a millennial, the issues within being a millennial home buyer and Harper Woods being a great source for homes for millennials, new home buyers. I want to also be able to speak towards that and help to nurture that for the community, for the city. And I open up any questions to you.
We'll start with you, Cheryl Constantine, with asking a question.
Okay, my question's not on the list, but I think it's real. In order to get things done, you need to have connections and relationships with people at all levels of government. How are you like reaching across the aisle and making relationships and being able to search for grants and be able to connect with elected officials and appointed officials and their staff across the aisle?
When it comes to I consider that relationship building, and that is part of my core is relationship building across the aisle, no matter where we are. Part of what I have always, part of my current position now, I work for Wyndham Hotels, and I am a quality assessor as well as a brand consultant. So ensuring that I am able to speak to everyone that is needed, from franchisees to owners to corporate, to ensure that we are getting what needs to be done for our clientele. Being able to reach across, speak to people from any demographic to work on that, as well as going through finding the solutions that they may need, from points of finding money for franchise improvements, all the way to being able to give a recommendation for further assessment, further just building of that franchise. These are things that I do daily at this point, and as well as have done throughout my career.
Thank you.
Tell us what kind of experience you've had with like union labor relations, because we have to do a lot of union, and we have a pretty tough crowd here to work with sometimes. So I'd like to know what kind of experience you have in that area.
Working for formerly Starwood Hotels, now Marriott Hotels, working at the Westin at the Detroit Airport, as well as the Westin downtown at the Book Cadillac, as well as the Courtyard Marriott. Those are all union properties. I've had to work with union negotiations for departments, as well as everything from documentation to training, all through union and union leadership as well. And I've worked with unions for at least 10 years so far.
I guess a follow-up would be separate. You were part of labor negotiations with those unions in their contract?
Not full labor negotiations, but within department labor negotiations, yes.
Okay, so you helped to take care of the contracts that they were signing?
Correct.
Negotiating those contracts
Correct.
with them?
Just for the department, not for the entirety, but for my departments, which I oversaw food and beverage departments, I was part of that, yes.
Okay, my question is, we've just been presented with a multi-million-dollar bond proposal. The city manager oversees at least 9 different departments, at least 10 boards and commissions, 8 general fund budgets, including police, fire, DPW, parks and rec, fire, fringe benefits, legacy costs, water sewer funds, major local street funds, Milk River funds, over $14 million income and outgo. In what way are you prepared to work on those programs?
When it comes to budgeting, I have an extensive history within budgets, from going over to formatting to even forecasting. All those things are within the hotel industry, but being able to forecast the budget, stay on budget, as well as work through it to ensure when hiccups may come and things like that, working through budgets, I definitely have an extensive history with.
Ms. LaPrade?
Can you tell us how Harper Woods funds our police and fire department?
How they are funded?
How are they funded?
At this point, I do not have that exact answer, I will be honest.
Ms. Williams?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My voice is kind of out a little bit.
Understood.
Okay. What do you see as the key challenges facing Harper Woods today? And how would you ensure clarity and transparency when presenting complex information to our elected officials and the community?
I would say that a lot of things when it comes to Harper Woods publicly, a lot of them can be boiled down to almost PR issues sometimes when it comes to community perception, when it comes to public perception of the city. There seems to be a lack of communication when it comes to community information and community involvement. That would definitely be something, should I come into the position, working to ensure that community understands what's going on, and notification, as well as just general communication of what's going on with the city, what's new, things that can be looked forward to, as well as not just the city council meetings and things like that. So through communication, helping to revive and help the PR of the city would be something that I think definitely would be a good thing to look into. And I'm sorry, you had a second part of your question.
Well, the second part was, how would you present complex information to our... How would you present the complex information to elected officials and the community?
How would I present the complex information to elected officials and community? Once I should I be chosen for the position, once I was actually a part of the organization, being able to take a role and see exactly what we are doing and modernize it for sure. Just bringing things up to date. I was like, I'm trying not to touch anything. I don't think it's me. Okay, but modernizing it in order to streamline it and just make it in general better and more accessible for the community.
Okay. What would be your top priorities or items that you would like to accomplish in your first 120 days?
To be very honest, I would not be able to make a plan for my first 120 days until I got into the position to see exactly what needed to be accomplished. I don't want to speak on something that I don't know about, and the best way to know that is to get into the role, see what needs to be done, listen to the feedback of everyone that I would be leaning on, working with, to see exactly where the attention needs to go in order to make a plan and execute it.
Oops. Okay. Mr. Perry, how would you encourage other young folks such as yourself, consider anybody young under the age of 50, how would you encourage them, how would you encourage them to come to our city to live?
It's funny because since I have moved over to Harper Woods, one of my friends just last month bought a house down the street, and I've got two more looking. So big cheerleader for Harper Woods on a personal level. But we need to highlight what the small about 9 miles of Harper Woods is. The businesses, the community, the schools, we need to highlight that in order to show millennial buyers, the new people, that you can buy your starter home, you can invest in the city, you can start a family. As we know, family numbers are dwindling everywhere, but we need to capitalize and show community and public that this is a family-oriented area for new millennial and zillennial buyers that want to come in and scrounge up our money and finally get a place of our own. We need to capitalize on that and show them. So we need to actually show them. We're not highlighting things on social media. We're not capitalizing on new things that are coming, new area or new businesses and new builds that are coming. So people don't know until they know.
All right.
Madam Mayor, just a real quick question. Mr. Perry, you just indicated Harper Woods. I don't know if I heard you correctly, but the size of Harper Woods that you were talking about.
I said about the 9 miles of Harper Woods. I believe it when.
Do you have an idea of our boundaries?
The driving boundaries, yes, of where they are. When I say 9 miles, I know that was the loose amount from, I believe, Wikipedia that I read some time ago.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Could I ask?
Is there, yes.
Just a follow-up question. Could you tell us about your experience from labor law?
With labor law?
Yeah.
Directly working in operations for hotels, ensuring that I abide by them through states. Normally for myself, that would be something that I would reach out to an HR department about, but I am not unfamiliar with general labor law, how to abide by them, if that's an answer for you.
All right.
Can I ask one more question?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any types of municipal services or any of our departments that you would choose to privatize? Which one should remain public?
That is a question. Off the top of my head, I wouldn't think to attempt to privatize anything. But again, if I were able to, if that was something that would be if that were something that I needed to research and go through, I would be able to, but off the top of my head, I don't have a suggestion or any thought for privatizing anything like that.
Yes.
What can you tell us about the Milk River operation?
That I'm not sure about.
All right, then. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Perry.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Do you want to sequester him?
Yeah.
And I should step out.
Yep, we're gonna have
Yeah,
you.
we're,
Will y'all remember the questions that you asked? You can ask the same questions.
We are ready for you, sir.
And maybe not.
Proceed. Good evening. Mayor Kendall, City Manager, and Harper Woods City Council. I'm very honored to be before you. Thank you for this opportunity. When John was reading the instructions that I applied for this over a year ago, and he read the instructions that only 2 hadn't found jobs. I'm like, this almost was the only job that I applied for. And because I'm self-employed, I'm an attorney. I used to be the state rep over in Redford area, but when my daughter got elected, I said, I'm going to get out of politics. So 5 years ago, I moved over to the east side of Detroit, Chandler Park area. And I think the east side is very exciting, and I'm glad to be here. My career basically started when my kids were born. I had Irish triplets in 1990, 1991, 3 girls within 10 months. And it motivated me. On my 34th birthday was the first day I attended law school. I went to University of Detroit Mercy from 95 to 98. I graduated in December of 98 with an MBA and a JD, and took the bar in 99 and been a licensed attorney since. The truth was, I had children with a woman that had 3 children, and we tried the Brady Bunch thing, and it didn't work. So when I got out of law school, I was a single dad raising 3 girls. Why that's relevant is I said I can't work for a law firm. I can't hang my own shingle. So I ran for Wayne County Commissioner. My brother Dave and then Christopher were the Wayne County Commissioners over here. I saw what they did, how they did it, and for one, I said I can do better than my brothers. But for 2, it meshed very well with raising 3 daughters. I served on the Wayne County Commission from 01 to 08. I helped create the Wayne County Land Bank. I was one of the founding members, first treasurer. I served on the Detroit Wayne Mental Health Board. And that really humbled me, how you can talk about very big dollars, but when the politics like Bob Ficano and Kwame Kilpatrick fighting over control and they'd stop payments, you would have the providers that couldn't, pay their staff. And so I really saw the ripple effect of politics up here and how it affects constituents. And in that instance, it was constituents of the Detroit Mental Health Agency, people that needed services. I ran for Wayne County Treasurer in 2008 because I saw that it was the first time in our county's history that property values had gone down. I didn't know it was a premonition to the Great Recession, but I thought we needed to change in 08. So hence I gave up my commission seat. I hung my own shingle. It was MI Strategic Solutions. I ran a consulting company that I used to say you could walk in with an idea, I could write your business plan, I could get you through zoning. If you needed state grants, I could help you with that, all the way to opening your door. And I prided myself on that. But in 2011, the Speaker of the House, Andy Dillon, came and asked me to run for state rep. He sort of told me, because he said, I have 107 other seats to worry about. I don't worry about this. Business was good, but I still ran for state rep. I served 2 terms, and very proud of that. One bill that I had more bills introduced as a House Dem than any other Dem in the tenure I was there. One bill was a simple solution, yet it was needed and it helped a lot of people. Since I had ran for the treasurer's race, I was pretty familiar with all the particulars of the state law, and treasurers were not allowed to write payment plans. They could divide your payment by 12, but they couldn't write a payment plan. I introduced a bill that was backed by Mike Duggan, the governor, was signed into law, that just allowed payment plans. Instead of 18%, you could sign up for 5 years of past taxes, and it would be lowered to 6% instead of 18. If you were the owner-occupier, not the owner-renter, not a business, but the owner-occupier, that saved over 100,000 families got into payment plans. After that law was signed, I ran for Wayne County Executive because I was not happy with the job Afcana was doing, but very pleased to see Warren Evans, highly capable, has steered our county well. So I know state government, very familiar with federal government, but especially local government. I was semi-retired after I moved. I run a small law practice. I'm not out applying for jobs. But when I became aware of this, at the time, it was city manager, and then it became deputy manager. It interests me very much. It's a community right next to where I live. I can get cases, but I don't necessarily like going to court or writing briefs or chasing people for money. I believe that I've had a good career, and I think it would mesh well with the needs and goals of this city. I know you've been through very hard times. I know you've turned it around on solid footing, but there still are issues that have to be dealt with. The population, lobbying, various things, and I would be honored to be considered for the position.
Starting with you, Ms. Foster.
First?
Uh-oh.
All right. What would be your top priorities, or what would you like to accomplish in your first 120 days?
Learn. I'm not going to come in and say I know anything about the job. I know the responsibilities, but the day-to-day, and my first 120 days, I'd like to get very acquainted with the city. You meet as many residents, know every block, know the neighborhood associations, know the goals of the council, the citizens, the mayor, and with John, help to try to fulfill those. But learn, because I understand John may be retiring, and hopefully I would be considered for that position.
What do you see as my voice is out, so. What do you see as the key challenges facing Harper Woods today, and how would you ensure clarity and transparency when presenting complex information to elected officials and the community?
Relating what information? Confidential? Or?
Whatever information it is.
Relating information.
Complex information.
Complex, excuse me.
Transparent.
I have ran countywide twice, lost twice, but every other election, 6 elections, I've won, and I believe it's because you convey, you stand behind your votes, you can take a strong stance. I represented Redford and Detroit area in the commission, and it was always the city versus the suburbs. And so a lot of times I saw myself as the tying vote. And to stand on a position you believe in after being well educated and explain it. Just don't go where the wind is. So I think I could convey that to the citizens and help the elected officials maybe navigate to a decision.
And the other part was the challenges facing Harper Woods.
Well, I came to a few meetings a year ago, and it was your new development in marijuana and some other things. But right now, getting the water infrastructure straight, maybe planning for a recreation center. And I also know that you needed some lobbying effort and some favors by the state last census. And that problem could arise again, that you might just go over the census enough to not qualify for things. I would like to work on that in advance and make sure that when the census comes out, state law aligns, that Harper Woods is going to get everything possible from the state.
Can you tell us how Harper Woods funds their police and fire department?
What did you say?
Can you tell us how Harper Woods funds their police and fire department?
I believe it's out of general fund, except, well, to be honest, I don't know exactly. I lived in Redford for 30 years, and there was a special millage for the police and fire, retirement, and Redford had the highest taxes in the state. I don't know exactly. It could be the retirement is by a certain millage, it could be out of the general fund, it could be a safety millage, but I'm familiar with it. I do not know the exact answer to that question.
Your other question?
Let me ask it now, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My other question is, are there any departments or municipal services that you would find would be appropriate for privatization? Which ones should remain public?
At the outset, I'm a very pro-union guy. I have been endorsed by the unions throughout my campaigns. But also in running a government, you have to look at things that make sense. So what off the bat would I say need privatization? I'd rather not speak at this point, but I do know it needs to be an option for negotiations, but also if you're going to balance a budget. So I would say none at this point, yet I realize it's a function, and you have to negotiate with the unions.
Your turn.
We have just been presented with a multi-million-dollar bond proposal. We oversee 9 different departments, at least 10 boards and commissions, not we, the city manager. 8 general fund budgets, including police, fire, DPW, parks and rec, fringe benefits, legacy costs, water and sewer funds, major and local street funds, the Milk River. My question, and over $14 million income and outgo, what kind of experience have you had with budgeting?
Does it count that my ex-wife is treasurer of Redford Township? No. So I've solved a lot of her problems. I have ran my own business. I've had up to 6 employees. So personally, my own business. As far as budgets and budgeting, I served on the Ways and Means Committee for the Commission. We had over a $2 billion budget with everyone coming with their priorities, and it's the job of a legislator to figure out what is most important. And then the state budget, I chose to be on policy. You can either be on appropriations or policy, and I, for one, like driving tax policy, i.e. The installment plan that I was able to get through.
Thank you.
Oh, good. One of my questions was initially going to be about location, but you're close by, so I'm glad to know that.
3 miles.
So you can be involved in local activities. And also know the plus you have is like, I'm also a UD graduate, but I was UD graduate before there was UD Mercy. So, in fact, Councilman Siddiqui and I were both. My question was, tell us more about your experience with union labor laws and relationships.
I can't say that I've sat down and gone head to head with union leaders, but I know many of them, and I have, relationships 10 years ago. I understand POAM and several others are still run by those people, but I can't tell you that I've sat down. I can tell you that I've practiced law for 27 years, and every case is a negotiation. Nobody wants to go to trial. You're trying to find a middle ground. So I've been doing that for over 27 years.
In order to get things done, we need to have connections at all levels of government. How are you at reaching across the aisle and developing relationships with higher levels of government, other elected and appointed officials and their staff? And this includes finding grants, writing grants, and bringing home the bacon.
Well, I don't want to throw myself out there as a grant writer, but as an example, since you said, NSP, I believe it was 2009, and Barack Obama came out with neighborhood stabilization programs. The county came out and asked for proposals, and they only awarded 3, and I wrote 2 of those. Granted, that was a while ago. I don't write, but I know how to look for them. My most recent employment was with Plunkett Cooney Law Firm, and I was on their lobbying team. Tom Leonard, who's former Speaker of the House, and I were the lobbying team. And we had great clients and produced for them. So I do have relationships at the state that are new and fresh. I know everybody on the county commission, and relationships are important, but that also doesn't mean because you know somebody they're just going to give you something. You got to make a case, and you have to do your research and present it right. But if it's a good idea, I think I could at least introduce the concept to the right people. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
That's me. Anyway, my question to you is, how would you encourage other adults and families to move into Harperwood? What would you do to facilitate that kind of movement?
I hate to use myself as an example, but I moved from Redford I lived there 25 years and raised my family, represented the area because I saw how exciting Detroit was and I wanted to be part of it. So it's building community. First, they have to feel safe. I believe Harper Woods is a very safe community. To get involved in neighborhood associations and publicize the great things and events. When after writing the bill, Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabree came to me and said, Phil, we have a crisis going on, get the word out. And we were able to save 100,000 families over 5 years because we had seminars, because we put out the word in advertising, and we brought it to the people, to the neighborhoods. So to answer your question is just bring out the visibility and bring out the positive things, because I believe Harper Woods is on a great upswing.
All right, thank you. All right. No further questions? All right.
Should I go
sequester?
To have them sequestered while we vote?
Huh?
Will they be sequestered while we vote?
So I'm going to try disconnecting this one.
Phil?
Sorry.
Phil?
Phil, I'm going to have you come back here.
Okay. Pass those down. Here.
We all.
Everybody has them? Okay, great.
Okay, I know which mic it is now.
Which one is it?
You know which one it is?
And mic.
The end mic.
So she's gonna have to,
That's the one.
yeah, I'm watching the
Okay,
signal.
you're
Going
collecting?
all red.
Yes, I guess I am.
Pass it to Leslie.
Yeah. Are you putting them into what?
I'm gonna read them out loud as soon as everybody turns them in.
Everybody here?
Yep, everybody turned one in?
Yep.
Okay,
Should we have 7, right?
yep. So we have, one for Philip Kavanaugh. 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 One for Desmond Perry. I think that's our answer.
Okay, bring them back out.
Okay. Shoot, hold on.
All right. The vote has been taken. And Mr. Perry, as much as we appreciate your application and all, Mr. Kavanaugh was the selected candidate. I appreciate you, and hopefully you'll continue to be involved with our community.
Okay, so now we need the resolution.
Yeah.
Oh. With the person's name inserted.
Yeah, resolution.
Okay,
Yep.
so do what you have to do, John.
Resolution.
Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
I can do it. Madam Mayor, I'll make the resolution to approve the appointment of Philip Kavanaugh to the position of Deputy City Manager for the City of Harper Woods, effective upon a mutually agreed upon employment agreement.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Frank.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Toussaint.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes,
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster. Okay, resolution passes. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Bill. And that concludes the city manager's reports.
All right, call the audience, 3 minutes, come up, speak if, you know.
Hi, I'm Scott Dornbrack on Country Club. I'd like to share a win for the building department and recognize the key role that Greg Vargo played in helping resolve a situation. For some background, Point Alarm, which is located on Harper and Country Club, had installed 4 new exterior lights at the back of their building that were extremely bright and were literally lighting up the homes along Country Club. I personally contacted Point Alarm employees multiple times and directed my concerns to the attention of the owners, but unfortunately never received a response from the owners. I attempted this outreach at least 4 separate times. I eventually reached out to Greg Vargo, who connected me to Jim from the building department. After I showed Jim the nighttime photos of the lights, it was literally like a football field being lit up in our neighborhood. He immediately suspected that the installation might be in violation of city ordinances and Jim conducted a drive-by himself and was surprised on how bright the lights were and how much they illuminated our neighborhood. I think I got your voice. Jim personally contacted the owner of Point Alarm, and within 4 to 6 weeks, the owners replaced the lighting so that the fixtures now shine downward rather than outward, which resolved the issue for the surrounding homes. A sincere thank you to both Jim and Greg for their efforts in addressing this matter and helping it get resolution and that benefits the homes that are around along Country Club. Thanks, everybody.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Shanty Bailey. Mayor, earlier I heard you speak about wanting more families to move back into Harper Woods. My parents first purchased their home in 1994. They moved out and I had an opportunity to purchase the home. I graduated from Harper Woods High in 2001. I was very excited to return home and purchase my home. I purchased my home in 2021. Unfortunately, due to almost a tripling of car thefts in Harper Woods, I think I may have to leave. I can no longer afford to stay here. I live on Eastwood. 4 vehicles have been stolen out of my driveway. 2 car break-ins. I should live on one of the safest streets in Harper Woods. We're right here at the police, literally 2 minutes down the road. So between having the cost of having to replace these vehicles, replace what's stolen out the vehicles, the increase in insurance, something must be done. I have purchased lights. I've purchased the wheel lock. I purchased another Guardian, another alarm system. I've done everything I could think of to increase the safety and make sure that my property is not disturbed, and nothing has occurred. I'm pleading with you, Mayor, and I'm pleading with the City Council. I want to stay here. That's my daughter right there. The most recent vehicle theft was Saturday, and in the car was her favorite stuffed animal, Fluffy. So at this point, I don't know what else to do, and I welcome anything. Can we have increased patrols in Harper Woods? Can we have cameras, something? Criminals are acting with impunity right down the street from the police department. 4 vehicles from one address, 2 car break-ins. Please help. Please. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
At recent city council meetings, the mayor and the city council have continued to blame me. This has created negative perceptions for G-Pass with residents, and I'm here to state the facts. In 2024, when G-Pass learned that we would need to accommodate all the Grosse Pointes and Harper Woods for animal services, we purchased and renovated a building for that sole purpose. In the fall, we began meeting with city managers to explain our new access fee requirement. On November 11, 24, I sent an email to the city manager, copied Leslie Frank and Chief Hammerly, quote, "Please see the attachments, letter, and spreadsheet explaining our current dilemma in sheltering animals for municipalities. I would like to address City Council should you determine that this is the correct course of action." On November 12, the next day, the city manager responded, quote, "Addressing our city council at this time is premature. Our city administration will be having a private meeting with all involved to discuss how procedures should be handled moving forward. No meeting with myself took place." 2 months later, at the January 6, 25 city council meeting, the city manager recommended approval of the new access fee. The city council felt blindsided as they had no prior information for review. It was at that meeting that I provided information packet to the members. They blamed me for not having the information prior to the meeting and not the city manager, and the fee was not approved. The information provided was transparent, and it showed costs for all municipalities. The mayor and Ms. Zwicky stated it was unfair and blamed me for asking Harper Woods to pay the largest fee, despite the fact that Harper Woods required the most sheltering. They made public statements disparaging myself and G-Pass, who had served the city since 2012. GPAS is not just a vendor, but it was a partner to the Public Safety Department. We assisted officers for 13 years with animals for their safety and the safety of the residents. To be treated with such disdain by the city was hurtful. In addition to animal services, GPAS raised $150,000 in charitable funds since 2016 for the Harper Woods Canine Program. Mayor Kindle stated at a meeting that the city paid for Kaiser, not GPAS. Not true. When the program ended in '25, the city had to return $47,000 remaining to GPAS. These decisions have led to 1, the police department having to struggle for animal services, having to care for dogs in-house, and having to take an officer off the road to drive to a shelter in Warren. 2, a service agreement that has no provision for emergency situations such as injured animals or assistance for cats and wildlife. 3, officers not having immediate assistance with animal situations as they have had in the past 13 years. And finally, the loss of their charitable donated canine program, a most valuable public safety tool. Thank you.
Good evening. Reginald Tabron, Rose Court. And just wanted to say that on March the 29th, we're having a pancake breakfast at the AMVET from the Lions Club. And we encourage you to come and support our Lions Club, Harper Woods, Grosse Pointe Woods Lions Club, because we are here to serve the community. And we encourage you to come out and support, and it's $20 a ticket. So please come to and attend. And I just want to take this time to speak from the heart. We hear about a lot of complaints that goes on in the community. But as we get out and serve the community, a lot of those complaints will eradicate and disappear. We can't just complain and then yell at the council to expect them to honor their complaint, and you disrespecting them. So I figure if you serve in the community and do what's right in your heart, everything else will take care of its own. So I encourage this young lady not to move, but if that's your decision, but go out and serve and do what we're supposed to be doing. And that's one of the reasons why my wife and I served under the Lions Club and being part of the school board. You got to get out there. And I noticed that we are being recognized by the people in the community that you two are doing great things for your community. That's because we're here to serve. I mean, we can complain all day, but by complaining, it's not going to get rid of the problem. It's just going to make people look at you differently. And if the way you present yourself, if you present yourself as argumentative, then you're never going to get anything accomplished, because the main word that you do not to eliminate confusion and confrontation, you can't say the word you, because that brings an argument. So if we can look inside our hearts and serve, I help with GPAS. Every 2 weeks, I go faithfully to Kroger's and buy food for them dogs to help her. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to do it at all. But I do that out of the kindness of my heart, because those dogs did not ask to be in that position, and somebody got to take care of them. So you got to do what's right and serve.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Janetta Tabron. I am the Vice President of the Harper Woods School Board. Good evening, everybody. Couple of announcements. We will be having our school board meeting tomorrow, March 17th at 7 o'clock. Also, Gleaners will be at the high school at 8:30 tomorrow morning, and you can line up at the baseball diamonds. Also, the Morton Development Group and Forgotten Harvest will be having a food distribution tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry, March 19th, from 2 to 4 at the Peace and Goodwill Church, 20955 Bournemouth in Harper Woods, Michigan. So please come out and get your food. Thank you.
Hi, Roger Crass, 21401 Bournemouth, Harper Woods, 66 years. I've been watching the previous city council meeting, and I haven't heard one thing, because the contract is coming up, about our garbage. Because that garbage, the contract was shoved down our throat last time. So I want to know if anything is happening with that, because we can't be put through that again. 8 years, that's just insane. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is the week after he was up here talking about this new situation, and I asked John, can we call Grosse Pointe Woods for animal control? Because what happened, there was a dog in the next door neighbor's shrubs freezing to death. And I called the 343-2530 number, and the person on there said, well, what do you want me to do? So I said, that's fine. I hung up the phone and I called Grosse Pointe Police. I said, there's a dog out here gonna freeze to death. It's shivering. It won't get up. It wouldn't come into my house. She said, don't worry, we're gonna have animal control come out. Sure enough, Grosse Pointe Woods comes out, took my cover that I put on it, put that one on, and started licking her face. So I don't know what's going on, but this, I mean, dogs are human beings too, so are cats. They freeze to death when they're out there in the cold. Now, the next thing I want to tell you, and this is something great that I'm so happy about. I talked to Marjorie, not Heather, but I want to thank you, because you must have had to approve the money for the pump across the street from me, because the last time it poured, that pump came on and did its job, because you guys had the courage to vote on it, to have that thing gutted out and redone. It works properly, and it doesn't hum, nothing. All you see is the light going on, and that water goes down. It was down in 3 minutes. So I just want to thank you for that. And that's all I have to say. Oh, wait a minute, I got one more thing. I forgot. It's about the fire. I read recently that there was a fire on one of the Wood streets, Woodmont, Woodcrest, Woodland. Woodside, the house burned down a thing. Well, what I found out is we have one fireman on the truck going out there. 3 police officers going there. But according to the state law, you're supposed to have 4 firemen on the truck, because they cannot go into that fire, the policemen can't. So what they had to do is go and evaluate, call Grosse Pointe Woods for mutual aid, and it took them 7 minutes to get out to the house, and it burned down. So you want to get a $5 million grant for infrastructure, let's get a grant to get some more police and fire in this city. I mean, one person on a fire truck, that guy could die instantly. That's crazy. That hasn't been like that since I lived here. Every time there was a fire, we had at least 5 people on that truck.
Thank you.
Greg Vargo, 20210 Woodland Street. First of all, I'd like to thank Corinne Martin, Executive Director of GPAS, for the courage required to present her account of the breakdown in relationship between GPAS and the City of Harper Woods. With that being said, I'm going to add a few follow-up comments to Corinne's statement with respect to the City Manager's failure in this matter. The City of Harper Woods has a mission statement. We firmly believe in philosopher John Locke's social contract theory that government exists for the benefit of the governed, not those governing. That is, the City of Harper Woods exists not to serve those who are employed here, but for the residents who have placed us here to serve, and that's you, the City Council. Now, to maintain this premise, City Council has to rely on a city manager by charter, a council appointee holding office at the pleasure of the council, who acts as the chief administrative officer and is directly accountable to the City Council to provide the necessary background information, reports, recommendation for you, the council, to make informed decisions. In tandem with the accountability to the City Council by charter, the Michigan Municipal League, MML, which we all believe in, promotes ethical governance in Michigan, often aligning with professional standards like the ICMA Code of Ethics, that mandates members, including city managers, to act with integrity, transparency, and serving as stewards of public trust. Accountability is maintained by providing elected officials with objective, necessary, and factual information to support their informed decision-making. Key tenets is specifically Tenet 3, integrity. But I got to emphasize here Tenet 5, advising on policy, not the lack of, which requires professional city managers to share information openly and ensuring that elected officials are aware of the consequences of their policy decisions. If you don't get the right information, you don't make the right decision. As it relates to accountability for a lack of agreement with GPAS, RCM should have provided the City Council information for review in advance of the actual service agreement negotiations. Critical information being openly shared with the 5 points and Harperwood's safety directors, information that shared information that would require the municipalities to budget for a fee-based service agreement for ongoing support with the GPAS facility was never let. In Harperwood's case, we know that wasn't done. We can't go back to negotiation tables after it's over. So moving forward, we can only hope that the future holds positive change with respect to a city manager. Thank you.
Either be quiet or come to the mic. Who's coming?
Hello, Juanita Busick. This is regarding a personal experience.
Yeah.
I would like to know how we are going to go about emergency situations. Okay, January, I had an emergency situation. I had a stroke, and I had an ataxia attack right afterwards. So I have had damage to the back of the brain, and it caused me where I had my whole movement was out of control. So I got a hold of a neighbor. My phone was hanging, and I'm crawling on the floor trying to get it. One by one texting in, help me, I'm on the floor. Thankfully, she had a key to the house. Well, she calls 911. It took them about 20 to 25 minutes to get here. It was MedStar, I find out later, because I get a bill from them. I didn't know who it was from. And then they say to me, well, where would you like to go? Where do you want us to take you? I thought the law was they take you to the closest hospital possible. So then I get an MRI the next day. They do it the next day. You're supposed to do it right away. And they're trying to figure out what in the world's going wrong with me. So I'm on medication now. I'm going to physical therapy. This is costing my life. I can walk a certain way, but I can only walk for so long. So I've got brain damage right at the back. That controls all your movement and everything. Because I did not have immediate transfer to the hospital. And I was laying on that floor for like an hour and then 20 minutes for them to get here to see me. And then wanting to know where I want to go when I could barely talk.
Good evening, Council. I want to say thank you to Heather and her crew and our officers. A lot of times when I call, Heather knows I call quite a bit and turn in things and trying to be a good citizen. And spring is coming up, and some of our problems right now are the youth playing basketball in the street. Ones that have been told last year they're not allowed to be playing in the street. I want to see better enforcement of it. I want to see the tickets given out. I want the hoops confiscated, and then let these kids know that we have 2 places for them to play basketball. We spend a whole lot of money for it, but yet they do it in the street. I called 3 times on 2 of them on Elkhart between Lansdowne and Kelly, and they're still sitting there. And they were blowing into the street the other day. And it's getting ridiculous. And as far as my answer to the mayor on the last time I was here with her comment afterwards, people don't move backwards, they move forward. And with less houses in the city of Detroit to rent, where do you think they're gonna go? And when I try to do something with my neighbors, and which I know, and they are from Detroit, and they get out there and empty 35, 40 rounds after you talk to them and ask them not to. It's ridiculous. Bad actors. If you want this city to be great again, you guys got to get together with the school and start cooperating with each other to make this city better. Help them get better at the school and here, and better relations. I go everywhere. And I'm always told, you still live in Harper Woods? I said, I like my city. I've been here almost my whole life. But we need things done. We need more police, like the young lady said, instead of doing this $2 million deal. I know we got Parks and Rec. Why don't we partner with one of them like East Point and Roseville did? Mrs. Zwicky can attest to the nice little setup that they got.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Zadarius. I live off of Woodcrest. Been a resident for almost 2 years now. One thing I wanted to speak on, however, tonight is the recruitment of the deputy city manager position. I will say that I have worked in city government and local governments and things before, and one of the things that is very important when it comes to those kind of things is transparency. I came here tonight doing as I'm doing right now to kind of ask what the status was, what was needed, what kind of like where we were in that process. And so to come here tonight to find not only that the 2 finalists had been selected, but that the process had continued without any kind of communication to any of the applicants or to let them know that they were not selected was very disheartening to hear. I understand things happen, communication falls short, but me personally, I called 7 weeks straight, tried to hear what may have happened. Is there any progress being made? And I was told nothing's happening and we'll let you know. The 2 candidates that were selected, I'm sure, like was said, they have their great qualifications, and things that they said tonight were very positive. And again, I know going forward, the person that was selected will be a great deputy for the city. Again, and as the other residents have said here tonight, the most important thing is that the city residents are taken care of and not necessarily an individual or anything like that. But I will like to point out, just like I said before, it would have been nice to get a more transparent process to be able to have some input on that and to, at least be able to make your case for what you want to represent and how to represent the city. I don't proclaim to know too much about how the city fire and police are funded or anything like that, but I do know 2 points just before then. You guys had a motion to discuss the public hearing for financing the police department. So, that's all I have to say. Thank you for my time.
All right, let's call the audience. It's over, so let's start with, call the council with you, Councilwoman Constantino.
Okay, first of all, I want to mention, I did like Mr. Perry, I thought he was a good person, even though he didn't seem to have a lot of government experience. I'm wondering if maybe he might be a good candidate for one of our boards and commissions, if we could reach out to him. Mr. Darius here too would be a good candidate for a board or commission. We need to get some new blood. Now, the thing I want to talk about is CapCon. Several of us went to the Capitol Conference. We met with Representative Pies there. We also went to some workshops and luncheons and different things. It wasn't the best conference, but there were a couple good seminars there. And the one I liked the best was Lobbying 3.0. So it had some new lessons for us, different ways that we can present strategies and be a little bit more forward thinking. Some of the things were a little bit out of date, like their energy panel. They were still talking about solar power and batteries and things that we know are yesterday's technology. So I suggested to them that they look into some more upcoming technology, like nuclear power and different things. So they said they would look into it and maybe have something to present in the future. But there were still a number of issues that are affecting Michigan today. The one we kept hearing over and over and over again is that our kids can't read. And I see that at school. In my mind, I kind of thought, oh, this is the COVID generation. But if that were the case, we wouldn't be like number 48 in the entire country. Everybody would have bad readers or whatever. So this is something that we do need to focus on. Even though it's more of an education issue, we do need to be supportive of it. I know there was money in the budget for reading specialists. I don't know where that money went, but I know that we never received it to get reading specialists at our school, and I checked on it in a few different ways, and that money never came. So I'm wondering what we can do to help our kids read. At work, I do take some of my time to pull out the 5th graders and work with them. And interestingly enough, just taking a little bit of time with these kids, their scores are rising and going through the roof. So what I'm going to suggest is if you know somebody, maybe take some time and read with a child. I think just spending the time with them reading is really important. For some reason, books have been replaced with phones and laptops and things like that. And I don't think it would hurt to go back and read books with a young person. There were some other issues brought up. There's still housing issues, although it's substantially less than it was a year ago. The new housing issues are more focused on making it affordable to build. That a lot of times before they even build, the builders are spending like 90 grand just getting approvals and all the things that they have to do before they can start building, and streamlining that process and making it easier for people to build and less expensive. So that was another issue that kind of struck me. And I'll let my fellow council members talk about the things that struck them.
Okay. I might read two signs. Well, everybody knows what I am. But anyway, State Rep Pies, you weren't the only one that was having some civil rights, celebrating civil rights. We were also doing it up here in the Grosse Pointe, Harper Woods area. Dr. King spoke at Grosse Pointe South on March 14, 1968, facing racial heckling, but supported by courageous Grosse Pointers and Harper Woods residents who ensured his voice was heard. Monday, March 9th, we made history again by supporting Dr. Roy Bishop as the next superintendent of the Grosse Pointe Public School System. In addition to the speech I gave at the school board meeting supported his appointment, I also informed Fox 2 News of this heroic, historic event. They provided excellent coverage on TV and the newspaper. Dr. Bishop thanked me for making that happen. Dr. Bishop has held several administrative positions at the Grosse Pointe schools, including principal at Mason Elementary School and deputy superintendent for the last five years. This time, he actually was selected and not overlooked again. Dr. King would have recognized the significance of this moment. In addition to another civil rights moment, Changing the Points held an event at Grosse Pointe South to celebrate the content of Dr. King's speech and a march at the plaque. If you never know, there's a plaque there in front of Grosse Pointe South about when Martin Luther King spoke up here. It was very well attended with several elected officials. CapCon, we've had better ones, I will admit, but it was still very informative. They had done one nice session, which I thought about quite a bit when the students were here about the robotics, on how to incorporate more youth in a lot of different programs that we go on. It's been a little more challenging now, I see, in this generation than it was when I was growing up, but we have to still continue to try to do that. Another thing is, the gentleman was talking about the light situation. I've had that same challenge in my own neighborhood. For some reason, when these LED lights came out, everybody decided they need to light up their whole backyards and all. It was like 2 blocks over, the lights in I didn't have to turn my bedroom lights on because my bedroom's all lit up. So fortunately, I was able to talk to a couple of residents back there without them cussing me out, because you know most people don't like to be approached. And they did kind of tone it down a little bit, and they even have street lights. So I know that's a challenge. Another challenge that's, so fortunately, the LED lights, people, take it easy with them. I know you love the light, but take it easy. As far as the theft on cars, I know that's going to be a big challenge. One thing I noticed about in Harper Woods, when I moved here from Detroit area, is that most people have garages, and I know a lot of times now we have 4 cars instead of 2. But I do encourage people to try to use the garage as much as they're possible, because that's what they were designed for, to protect and house your automobiles. Most people want to hoard stuff in their garages and put their most valuable asset out in front of it. But I know that's not the answer to everything, but in most cases, if you can't try to do that, that really makes a big difference. And happy St. Patrick's Day. I know I have my green on. On St. Patrick's Day, everybody has a little bit of Irish in them.
I'm also in my green, even though I'm 100% Polish. But a couple of things, and I don't want to drag this out because I think we have talked about GPAS often. But I do want to say one thing, and I wish that Corinne Martin was here to hear about this, because it wasn't a matter of how many dogs Harper Woods, had at GPAS. I wasn't criticizing the cost raised per animal. I was criticizing the basic service costs that all cities shared. Harper Woods was paying multiple times more for that basic cost of service, not the per animal cost. In addition, Ms. Martin, to council, told us that any animal that was not accounted for was charged to Harper Woods, because who else was she going to charge it to? That wasn't fair to our community. So that was among the reasons, not the fact that she's all up in arms about, our premature decision making. That wasn't the basis of our complaints, and that had dragged out over multiple meetings. And so it's not like it was a one and done. It dragged out for a long time. Nevertheless, I want to just put that to rest at this point. I do want to also mention that the library has a number of different programs that encourage reading to children, including tutoring, after-school tutoring that's available to kids. And so I really highly recommend that parents take advantage of those programs if they can. I know with my own young 3-year-old grandson, reading is so valuable and so important. And I know that we read with him frequently, And he is, even as a 3.5-year-old now, reading. He is reading. And so that's pretty exciting.
It is.
I do also want to just mention to Ms. Daly, I understand the frustration of having any kind of theft going on. We have fortunately been blessed with only having theft once at our property. Years ago, we left the garage door open, actually twice. We left the garage door open and someone took off with our lawnmower. And a second time, I watched as someone rode my daughter's bike out of the garage, which was open, and called the police, and they intercepted the person. So we were fortunate to get that bike back almost immediately. What Mr. Toussaint had to say about using the garage is very valuable. But I also think that if you haven't had an opportunity to speak with our police chief or the detective, our police chief is at the back of the auditorium, and he'd be happy to speak with you again. So police chief, do you mind raising your hand again, just in case? So yes, please contact him, talk to him directly. Thank you.
I think everybody wants to go home. So we're going to make this really quick. I'm just going to offer my congratulations to Dr. Roy Bishop also. I was extremely impressed that 4 members of our council, 3 members of the Harperwood School Board, and various Harperwood citizens were in that audience to applaud this man that deserves this job and will hopefully bring some changes that this district needs. He's a great guy. I know him personally, and let's everybody have a good night and go home.
Good evening, everyone. I was very fortunate and very pleased to attend the appointment of Dr. Roy Bishop and several city council members, and the school board and residents came out, so we were very supportive. So it was really, really nice to see Grosse Pointe school system moving forward with that appointment. The car thefts, like I say, please report it to our police chief. He's in the back. And I do hope that we could do something for you about that. Hopefully the patrols will be increased or something now that we're aware of where it's occurring. And apparently it's occurring quite a bit right in that location. GPAS, I do want to thank, but she's not here, GPAS for everything they've done in the past for our community with the dogs. We had a very good relationship for a long time with the community, and so I do want to thank her for everything that she's done with GPAS. The community, we have, however, moved forward with a different company now, so I hope the community will be supportive of the new company, the new contract that we have. So moving forward, please, community, support the change that's been done now. The food pantry with the robotics team. I was out there that day that they did the ribbon cutting ceremony, and of course many of the city council and school board and a whole bunch of other people was there, so it was really nice. It was really, really, really cold that day, so it was good to see everybody who came. You know, the robotics team was excellent. It's a nice food pantry, so they did an excellent job. And serving on the board, I know we got citizens who's very concerned and want to be a part of what we're doing up here. So please consider joining the board with some of our boards or commissions to still be involved in what we're doing. I think there's 2 more. I want to congratulate Mr. Kavanaugh for the interview and for being selected. And also, I want to thank our state representative for being here and also being very reachable and approachable. She has coffee hours, so she's one of the few representatives I know that you can easily reach. I attended her coffee hour that she had recently at the Next Chapter Books on Warren, and we had a nice little chat, so her accessibility is commendable. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Hello.
Wherever.
So I was thinking, when we move Parks and Rec out of that office into the new rec center, why can't we turn that into a mini station? It can be right on campus. We could work with the school board. So when we'll have like a mini station on Beaconsfield. That way when you have events at the high school, you have a police presence. I think, and the building can be renovated. So I think that should be consideration because of the last year's football game. I think it should be a consideration. That way they have something right there. That's all. Just a thought.
Well, I especially like to thank the robotic team and the presentation today. But I also would like to put to rest, as Councilwoman Sawicki said, going tit for tat for what has happened with GPAS is over and done with. We've moved on. Things were said that was not recorded, but we know, those of us sitting here, that we made the best decision that we could make at that time because we were not informed. The part of the reason that we sit here is to be fiduciary responsible for what happens in the city. I had no problems with GPAS through the years. In fact, but when she stood there and told us to take it or leave it, well, okay, we took it or leave it. So she decided that she wanted to end our contract at that time if we would not. So I don't want to keep rehashing over this because it's a he say, she say kind of scenario, because we do not have the audio part for you to understand the conversation we had that night and the reason we made the decision that we did make. Everyone that was in the audience at that time understood where we were coming from. If you were not here that day, you may not understand, because we need animal control. It wasn't anything to slight anyone else, but the cost that we were asked to endure was too much. If it's 6 communities, why would we have the major portion of that cost? Split it all 6 ways, but neither here nor there. We have a new company we're working with. We're happy thus far. If somebody has issues, that's, we need to know about that. But other than that, that horse has left the barn, and we're going to move forward. It's just, it is what it is. It's over with, done with, and I would think we could think of many other things to do other than talk about a contract that is no longer valid. And there's no way we can bring this back together at this point in time. So, with saying that also, we had a very good turnout for Dr. Bishop, and I am so grateful that we all were there, that we showed the support of him. And his son was one of the junior mayors from the Juneteenth celebration, and he was so impressive. He was so into it, and so I know that he's not only teaching our kids, but his kids are a fine example of the kind of person that he is and what he will do with the Grosse Pointe School District. I just hope everyone keep an open mind and allow him to do his job.
Right.
It is being just here. It's difficult. We try to make the best decisions that we can make, on the basis of what information we have. But we don't always get it right, and when we don't get it right, we all regret us making a bad decision. But if we all not look with shaded eyes or slanted eyes, so to speak, at us and as elected officials also, know that we have the best interest. We're trying to do the best that we can with what we have. I am so sorry about your cars. And we have such a rash of car thefts in our whole area right now. I don't understand why people continue to steal other folks' stuff. Get your own. But it just boggles my mind. You work hard for your stuff. Nothing is more invasive than someone to take something from you. Ask me for it, please, but if you steal it, you hurt my heart. You hurt, So I understand where you're coming from, and I just hope we can do something to alleviate your problem, as it is a problem throughout our community, and not just our community. All our surrounding communities are facing the same thing. That is one of the reasons why we have those license plate readers around our community. Maybe we need more, maybe, or whatever. But I know our police department will talk with you and see if they can do something to help alleviate the problem that you do have. Also, we're trying to re-establish the Grosse Pointe Harper Woods NAACP. The Taborns have some flyers back there, but on Tuesday, March the 31st at 6 p.m., we will be meeting at the Wayne County Community College on Veneer. This branch of the NAACP will speak to the needs of the Grosse Pointes and Harper Woods. It is nowhere, we're not connected per se with Detroit's NAACP. We're all NAACP, which is a national thing. We need to have the NAACP in our communities for various reasons. And the NAACP does not just represent black folks. It represents all folks for injustice. It's for everybody. And in actuality, the NAACP was started along with a group of white people when it was started back in the 1800s. So it is not that. It's just that it's a group, a way of dealing with injustice. And we have a lot of it still going around today. As much as we would like to think we have arrived, we have not. But there are things that we can do collectively as a people, as a community, to alleviate the stress of injustices. And that's what we need to work on. So I invite everyone, if you can, to come to the meeting on March 31st. I believe it's a Tuesday.
6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. at WC3. And as I said, the Taborns have some flyers back there if you care to be involved. I want to thank everybody for being here, to being a part of this process of hiring a deputy city manager. It's important that you have a buy-in to that. I mean, I know you didn't get an opportunity to ask questions, but that was for our city council to do that. And I think they hit on the questions that maybe some of you may have wanted to ask. But let's hold Mr. Kavanaugh's feet to the fire and make him, welcome into our community and make sure that we get what we deserve out of Mr. Kavanaugh. All right, and thank you, everybody. I need a motion, Ivory.
I'd like to make a motion, happy St. Patrick's Day, to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You stay here if you like. Meeting adjourned.